Γεια σας παιδιά, το σημερινό βίντεο είναι αρκετά ξεχωριστό γιατί έχω μια αρκετά ξεχωριστή καλεσμένη, την Elena Kampouris, η οποία υποδίεται την Chloe Sampson στη σειρά Jupiter's Legacy, την οποία μπορείτε να απολαύσετε στο Netflix.
And so Yanis, where are you in? I have to know.
I am from a small city called Kastoria.
Okay, yes.
And but I live in Spain now, so I don't live in Greece actually right now.
Oh, really? Beautiful though. I hope you've been well and that you've been with your family and everything. You know, η οικογένεια μου είναι από την Κεφαλονιά και την Κάσο. But my brother, but my father, we're all over. Yeah, you know, in Athens, and just, you know, you'll find a Kampouris somewhere. Look hard enough in every nook and cranny.
Yeah. So before we start talking about Chloe, because you did mention your Greek roots, could you tell us a little bit more about your connection to Greece? What do you like about Greece? And have you been to Greece? Actually, how many times have you been to Greece?
All my life I've been. All my life growing up, we go back ever since I was little. I have pictures with the monks and Nafaktos, like all over. Like I have so many. Look at my Instagram, you'll see them. And it's always when I'm in Greece, I truly feel like when I'm swimming in the water, we've got the best water. Yani, I feel like my soul is at home. I really truly feel a peace and a serenity that it's a hard kind of magical. It's a magic. It's something so special. I feel like there's a comfort unlike anything I've really experienced. So growing up, going there all the time, visiting family, you know, obviously weddings in Greece and Kefalonia and all the traditions and everything. I was baptized in Greece. So my veins, the blood runs blue and white, you know, and we're very proud of our culture. You know, I also have French roots in Greece, but we've got Kampouris, again, as I said, all over Greece. They're so proud to play. Like even though recently, whenever I have an opportunity to go, I try to. I haven't gotten to in the past couple of years as I've been working, but whenever I have an opportunity, I always like to go make a pilgrimage to the homeland because it is a place again of peace and happiness, and the food as well, the water. It's just everything for me. And you know, and that's what I loved about Jupiter is because there's a certain pathos to this material, and also you have this mythology going on. I felt like they were representative of the Greek gods and goddesses. So there was and then you have the Shakespearean elements that come from, right?
That's
all
true.
of the classics. So I always look for the Greek. Where's the Greek qualities of the scripts I'm reading or the stories I'm reading? Very proud, and I always want to also uplift and support my people and, you know, fellow Greek artists and, you know, talking to you, that was so exciting for me. And I'm glad we could make the time work.
I actually want to ask you something because you did mention Greek mythology. If that was actually something that inspired you to audition for the role.
Absolutely. So I don't know about you. Were you familiar with Jupiter's Legacy before the show? Are you into comic books, Yani?
I'm into comic books. I actually started reading Jupiter's Legacy when the series came out. So then I became a little bit curious about what is this about, and I started reading more about it. So I've actually read the following volumes that came out. So I know what happens. I know what happens.
You know all the spoilers. However, I will say I think some changes, like there are some twists that have been added, though the DNA of the story is the same. But what attracted me again was reading this. I looked it up online when I saw the audition came in and seeing how there was again that pathos. There was a certain kind of vivid, visceral this is my papa just brought me fruit. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. You want to say hello? Say hello to Yanni. Hello. You see, always feeding me throughout the day. You know, the Greek families there is such a heart and such a love. Taking care. Not to get off track, but so what excited me was the fact that there was the Greek tragedy elements of familial discourse. You had fighting your own fate, like and fate coming as a result of your own weakness. You know, it reminded me also of Macbeth. So a lot of the Shakespearean plays as well, but it always again stems to the core is Greek. It all comes from the Greeks. So for me that was exciting, and again the mythology. I felt like Chloe is like I keep saying this, but I love this parallel. She's like the Artemis because these super beings are like they're walking among mortals. They are like the gods and goddesses of our modern day, right? So I feel like she's the Artemis. I feel like Brandon is like the Apollo, or you could say he's the Icarus, flying a little too close to the sun. Then Hutch, I feel like he's a bit of a Hephaestus, or he's a bit of a Dionysus. What do you think? I mean, did you see any similarities? Did it?
Definitely. I saw similarities, for example, with Sheldon. He gives me that kind of like Zeus vibes, you know, and Grace is giving me this hair era vibes.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was actually, you know, I thought about Greek mythology from the very first episode. When I saw it, I was like, this is it. There are some connections. There are some elements that I can relate to that.
I love that. I love it too, because you also have, there's like the main six, right? And there's the main, you know, of the gods and goddesses, and then they have their offspring, right? Their legacy and what they get into, and all of the twists and turns and the backstabbing, or the juicy drama. We invented drama, you know? So that's, I feel like now that we're pointing out more, I'm trying to like think, okay, where's brainwave in this? I'm trying to equate. We'll have to work on this together, Yanni, and come up with where every single one fits.
Yes, that's definitely true. So Chloe, Jupiter's Legacy, you get the phone call. Elena, you got the role. What were your first reactions and how did you feel?
Well, I was sitting in the parking lot of Gold's Gym Bridgewater, which is a lovely family-owned business, and I always say it was there because whenever I'm not working, and the back, and also when this like 2-3 years ago when I got word, I'm always at the gym. You know, we're very strong people. We always have to make everything fit. But when I got the word, I flipped out because, as you also know, we talk with our hands and we're very energetic and loud, and people think we're yelling at one another, but it's just our standard volume because we're passionate people. So I'm very bad at keeping and containing my excitement. So I was overjoyed because this was a character who on the surface can appear like just a reckless, hedonistic, attitudinal party girl, but that's fun in the sense that when provoked, she can be violent, she can, you know, she's an uncontrollable drug addiction, which is a very serious issue that I'm glad we don't shy away from. Those are enticing themes, but I love with the veneer of the whole attitude and angst. I like, what attracted me the most was her soul, you know, the psyche of her character, and the pain that's ultimately, the pain is what causes all of these reactions that are so crazy. Her temper and everything, it all comes from having this unfathomable amount of pain that she's just trying to, like, how do I cycle it? How do I numb it? And by doing all of these things, you know, alcohol, drugs, she's hard partying, she's only really making her pain even, you know, more severe. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense. That was what
Absolutely. I agree with that. That actually leads to my next question. When you first got the material and you started reading about Chloe, what were these elements that made you fell in love with Chloe? But what were also these elements that you found challenging in a way that made you say, maybe I need to work more on this part, you know, preparing for the role of Chloe?
Well, again, what I love about her is to me, you have, gods and goddesses, right? But she's the most, to me, of the bunch, probably one of the most human characters. She really represents the human weakness, human flaws, which all of us have. These are real issues. She represents the humanity to the perfection, to the super beings. So that was what was so exciting. But I knew that there was a challenge in that, and that would be like, that's where I have to really put in the work, because, you know, I don't want to just go in and play someone addicted who battles all kinds of different and do that without major consideration. So it took a lot of studying, a lot of talking to people, close friends of mine who were generous enough to open up about their battles with addiction and where that pain comes from, and a lot of it parallel with what I was working on with Chloe, which is, you know, here's a family, and yes, this is all fantastical, but if you go to the root of it, it's all very real and relatable, that we all kind of go through similar things, really, you know, distill it. So here's someone who has a family that's like, you know, they're like this, they're like the royal family of the superheroes. Okay, they have all of these values to live up to. She feels like, why are you putting on this facade of perfection? It's unattainable. It's not real. You guys are being frauds, and I want to be a part of the family unit, and I want to feel loved by you, but I don't want to be fraudulent and feel that inside. Then she's going off and being a supermodel on billboards and modeling and putting on a different kind of a costume, right? And she's also selling out in a sense. She's being hypocritical. So this feels a self-loathing, which was a big thing that I was finding, is like this feeling of being gross inside, feeling like an insect, a bit like Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis reminds me of like Gregor, how she feels like a bug that's just under a microscope that is a bug amongst her family members that are not, you know? And so then you've got her navigating all of this loathing, this guilt, abandonment issues, severe loneliness, which I think these are universal things, you know, that we experience at one point or another. So to me, it's like this required a lot of consideration, because if you don't delve into those layers, you're not doing her justice. And I was like, she's such a vivid character on the page. I'm like, it's a big responsibility to bring her to life. And I hope when you were watching, you felt her soul, her sensitivity, because she's not just like attitude, though that's so like entertaining and fun to play. It's like you gotta get to the root of it.
Absolutely, and I think as a character, she does care about her family, but you know, is that what keeps her away from that family? Is the union and the fact that, you know, she doesn't want to be a superhero. So I think it's a double-edged sword. You know, not wanting to be a superhero also is what you know, keeping her away from her family.
Yeah, you're so right. I love double-edged sword, because that's really the big barrier. Like that's the confines, that's the box she's been put in. And if you got that out of the way, I think they would be able to find a middle ground. And that scene with the bagel with the bagel scene in episode 2, which she's talking to her father, I feel like they're trying to speak the same language there, but they're talking words at one another, but no one's listening, because it's the big elephant in the room that is actually addressed all the time, and she's always trying to reach out. And even at the dinner table, she's reaching out to them in a volatile way. Her approaches can be abrasive, but it's always just trying to get through to them, because she loves them so much. She knows she's hurting the people she loves the most by not being a part of the cause. And they're like, here's the supermobile, here's your suit and cape, come on, like we're waiting. But it's like she can't, she just keeps it too real. She's not built like her father, and it hurts her to have grown up with her brother, I feel, who was in the same boat as her, of having absentee parents. Like they both, I think they were the only ones who could really relate to one another growing up in the same situation. And it hurts her because they were probably very tight, but they drifted more and more apart the more he got these blinders on and became this drone who's just like, say they didn't have powers. If the dad said jump off a bridge, he'd probably do it. She's like, you're damaging yourself. You need to acknowledge we've been damaged by our parents. They're not perfect, even though we wish they were. You know, I'm open about my baggage, even though I'm handling it in a really unhealthy way. That's not lost on her. She's like, you can't keep bottling this up, brother, because you're going to just implode, and you might even go down an even darker path, which about, because of that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything.
Yes, but you see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So talking about obviously Chloe, and you know, interacting also with your fans, what are these elements that the fans told you that obviously made them fall in love with the character?
It's funny, not to get on a side note, but I played a character before this in Sacred Lies where I had no hands. My character was the handless maiden. So maybe it's because I'm Greek and also overreacting after playing a role where I had no ability to gesticulate. But to your point, what I'm hoping, like, what's been wonderful is to see the fan reaction to people who are familiar with the comic and people who just watched the show, you know, new, fresh eyes. I love that a lot of people reached out and said they related to her pain, a lot of feeling that you're like not good enough, and how they're feeling lost. Like it always, that's my goal, is whenever you play a role, is have it resonate with someone. And if you can relate to it, if it speaks to you, that's like, that's what you hope for, you know? So that's been really rewarding for me. But I don't know, for me, I responded to, again, her she has this fierce loyalty, even though she can seem like, no, she's not loyal. She's a quitter. She's a stalker. She is so much. She's self-destructive, but she's devastatingly loyal. And I think people can relate, I hope, to the pain she's going in, the height. She just feels everything on such a heightened level. I mean, did you have anything that resonated with you about the character? Because, I mean, I'm always curious.
For me, it was the fact that she finds it really difficult to connect to people. And I think that it was, she didn't want to come across as, you know, as a mean person. I think she's having a hard time to open, you know, and talk about her feelings and talk about what's going on in her life. So
sorry, keep going.
No, I'm done. Go.
No, I think to your point, you just made me think about what, now it's back to me, I think what you're saying is she can't connect with people is like she's always getting used, right? So even if she wants to connect with someone, they're just trying to get to her dad. You see it with Nick of Time.
Exactly.
Like they're always just trying, like she thinks, wow, they want to get to know me on an intimate level. Like this is what I'm craving. Because when you're, I mean, she's lonely, she's seeking comfort, she's seeking an ally in these drugs, which they're only her enemy, really, you know, for her life. And to a point where she doesn't even care if she dies. But she wants just someone to get her and to understand her and to embrace her so she can embrace someone else, you know, and work on loving herself before she can make, you know, help the world prosper. She has to prosper internally. But when you have people using you constantly, you have that fuels your trust issue, you know, and it fuels never being able to. That's why I think Touch, when he comes along, and what I hope people, you know, feel encouraged by, is like, just hang in there, because you will eventually find the people who get you, your fellow misfits who you can connect with, and that won't try and change you or make you, you know, like alter your own self-expression and your own personal identity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree with what you're saying about Chloe. Yeah, I think it's something that we all experience in our lives sometimes. You know, like trust issues. When, you know, someone betrays us, then obviously that will make it harder to open and, you know, like trust more people in your life.
Once that glass is shattered, it's never the same. You know?
Exactly.
It's always going to leave a little scar. But it's like how you heal, you know, and the people that you have around you.
Exactly. Last question about Chloe. I wanted to ask you, you know, in one of my favorite scenes, episode 4, during the photo shoot, where you throw that car. Tell me, how was the experience filming this scene?
It's so funny, Yanni, because you'll have to come to a set one day. You're a journalist. I mean, it would be great for you to see what goes into it, because it's so impressive and cool when you watch it. And I'm like, whoa, I look like it's like a rock star, though, because in the moment I feel kind of lame, because I'm like, it's all very choppy, it's all very jagged, the way that it's shot. But hey, these are masters at work, our VFX team, our directors, our creatives, they know what they're doing. But in the moment, I'm like, I don't know, guys, how this is all gonna wrapped up together, how it's gonna look. But I have to say, what it was the car is not actually a car. It's a big, like almost cardboard raft, like a big kind of like, it's like a humongous like a big humongous frisbee, but like a cardboard frisbee. To hold it, and it's not heavy, it's just the the largeness of it is what makes it like it was so easy, like teeter over when I'm holding. I have to hold it really still, because they have to take it one take that's purely for VFX, and you have to hold it really still so you don't move an inch. Like there's so much that goes into it, and then you just throw it with all your might. So that's why we are working out, constantly working with our stunt team, and shout out to Netflix for being able to like put everything together and all the puzzle pieces, and putting together our crew and like our stunt team, everybody that, you know, does their part to make the final product. Because it does, when you're on set and you're seeing like the green screen and everything, you're like, this looks like it's hard. Like I try to picture in my head, how is it gonna, you know, read?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Before we finish, can I ask you to send a message to your like Greek fans in Greek, if you can?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't want to. As a proud Greek girl, I cannot butcher our language, okay? As I know, it's a big thing. But I want to say to all Greek fans and the Greek audiences, keep on watching Jupiter's Legacy. I hope you enjoy it. And, you know, sta αγαπάω and πολλά φιλιά, φιλάκια, and thank you so much. And just know I always am proud and support my roots. And η Ελλάδα είναι πρώτη, απίθανη, υπέροχη, okay?
Thank you so much, Chloe. And Elena, sorry, I was thinking about the character.
Elena Kampouris, it's so good to meet you. And I hope we'll get to meet one day in person. That would be a joy. Maybe, hopefully in Greece, right?
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to meet. Thank you so much, Elena, and I hope you have a great day. And I'll be watching you on
Stay in touch
Twitter.
on social media. I do hope we meet, and thank you so much. Have a good night, Yanni. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much guys for watching this interview. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ παιδιά που είδατε αυτή τη συνέντευξη. Ελπίζουμε να την απολαύσατε και περιμένουμε τα σχόλιά σας για το Jupiter's Legacy. Μην ξεχάσετε να κάνετε subscribe, γιατί θα ακολουθήσουν πολύ ωραία βίντεο στο μέλλον. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Γεια σας.